Judge orders black general to remove her honor medal. What happened next ruined her career before we? Dive in this story, hit the comments and tell us your city or country. Let's see how far this story reaches. If you like the video, please subscribe. In a packed courtroom, General Mariah Langston stood tall, uniform pristine, medals glinting under harsh fluorescent lights. She wasn't there as a criminal, but as a key witness in a federal case. Still, the judge narrowed his eyes and interrupted her testimony. "Remove that medal. This isn't a military parade." Gasps echoed, but Mariah remained silent. That medal wasn't just metal. It was earned in war through fire, loss, and sacrifice. What happened next would not only shatter the courtroom, but upend careers, reputations, and the very justice system. Watch to the end. General Mariah Langston had spent 28 years defending the very nation that now questioned her presence in court. A decorated black woman, she had led troops in Afghanistan, orchestrated rescue missions, and mentored hundreds of young women of color in the military. That day, she'd been called to testify in a civil rights case, a young veteran suing a city for racial profiling. She wore her Class A uniform, complete with the Congressional Honor Medal she earned during Operation Phoenix Shield. She didn't expect applause, just respect. The courtroom was filled with lawyers, the press, and the veteran's family. All eyes were on her. But when she stepped up, the judge's eyes didn't go to her files or credentials, they went to her chest. One medal in particular, and before she could speak more than a few words, he cut her off and issued an order no one saw coming. Disrespect, cloaked as protocol. A line was about to be crossed. The judge's words were sharp. "Remove that medal. It's distracting and inappropriate in a civilian court." A ripple of discomfort spread through the room. Mariah didn't move. She'd worn that medal at NATO briefings, in front of foreign leaders and during the funerals of fallen soldiers. But here, in a courtroom on American soil, a white judge saw it as a distraction. The opposing counsel smirked. Cameras flashed. But Mariah's eyes remained fixed, calm, measured. The plaintiff's attorney stood up to object, citing military decorum and Mariah's role as an active duty witness. The judge doubled down. "This is my courtroom. She will comply or leave." That's... When everything shifted, Mariah took a step forward, not to remove the medal, but to place a call, not on the phone, but through her military-issue secure line. She was still an acting general in federal law, required any disrespect toward an on-duty officer to be reported within 15 minutes. The Pentagon had been alerted. By the time the court adjourned for lunch, federal observers arrived. One by one, high-ranking officials filled the back of the room, quiet, watchful. Word had spread, and the public was watching now. The judge, visibly shaken, tried to recover. But the damage was done. Cameras caught it all. The news had already been reported in national media, but the real blow wouldn't come until later that night, when the judge's past rulings came under fire and Mariah was invited to speak on primetime television. That night, Mariah appeared on national news not as a victim, but as a symbol of resilience. She didn't rant or attack. She told the story of every woman who's ever been told to shrink. Every soldier questioned the land they defended. Every black professional was stripped of their dignity in rooms they earned their way into. Public outrage exploded. The judge's past behavior dismissed complaints, racial bias patterns, questionable sentences all surfaced in a single weekend. By Monday morning, he was under investigation by the federal judiciary panel. By Wednesday, he was suspended. By Friday, he resigned, but the court of public opinion had already passed its verdict, and Mariah? She didn't just keep the medal. She also kept the memories. She gained a platform, and a nation that finally saw her. The incident changed more than one career, it changed a conversation. General Langston went on to lead military reforms that addressed issues of race, gender, and justice. Her case was cited in congressional hearings on judicial conduct. The veteran she testified for? He won compensated and publicly vindicated. But Mariah's true victory wasn't in headlines or resignations. It was in proving that silence isn't strength, dignity is. That courtroom wasn't just a legal battle. It was a symbol of every system that asked black women to strip themselves of worth to be seen as worthy. She never took off that medal. And now, millions wear her story like armor. How many others have been told to tone it down to fit in? Please tell us where you're watching from, because this fight for dignity knows no borders.